Hey there. You know that feeling when you react to something way more intensely than the situation calls for? When your partner says something innocent but you feel like you're under attack? When you're successful but still feel like a fraud waiting to be exposed? I want to tell you something that might change how you see your entire life. Those reactions aren't random. They're not proof that you're broken or too sensitive. They're signals from a part of you that got stuck in the past. And that part is still trying to protect you from dangers that no longer exist. Here's what nobody tells you. Your childhood trauma isn't just a memory. It's a living, breathing part of you that makes decisions about your relationships, your money, your career, even your health. And most of the time, you don't even know it's happening. What really happens when we're hurt as kids? Picture this. You're 5 years old and something terrible happens. Maybe your parents are fighting constantly. Maybe someone hurts you. Maybe you're just ignored when you desperately need love. In that moment, a part of you, let's call her little Sarah, gets stuck. She's still 5, she's still scared, and she's been making decisions for you ever since. Here's the thing, trauma doesn't make you broken. It makes you brilliant at surviving impossible situations. But the strategies that saved you at 5, they're probably destroying your life at 35. I call these stuck parts dissociated parts. They freeze at the age when the trauma happened. They lose contact with you, with reality, with time itself. And whenever something in your current life reminds them of that original pain, boom, they take over. How this shows up in your adult life. Ever wonder why you can't seem to trust people? Why you sabotage good relationships? Why money feels impossible to hold on to? Why you feel like a fraud even when you're successful? It's not because you're weak or flawed. It's because that little kid inside you is still trying to solve problems that are decades old. I worked with a woman recently. Let's call her Maria. She kept attracting men who would abandon her. We found the part of her that was still 8 years old, watching her father leave and never come back. That 8-year-old was trying to solve the puzzle. If I'm perfect enough, if I need nothing, maybe this time he'll stay. 27 years later, she was still trying to solve that same puzzle with different men. The good news, healing is simpler than you think. Here's what most therapy gets wrong. You can't think your way out of childhood trauma. That little part of you doesn't speak the language of logic. She speaks the language of feeling, of being seen, of being told she's safe now. In my work, we don't spend years talking about what happened. We spend minutes talking directly to that wounded part. I teach people to become their own loving parent to the child still living inside them. How to start healing today. First, recognize that you probably have these stuck parts. We all do. If you experienced any kind of neglect, abuse, or overwhelming situation as a child, and that includes watching your parents fight, being bullied, or even just not getting the emotional support you needed, part of you is probably still stuck there. Second, start paying attention to your pattern. When do you feel suddenly anxious, angry, or shut down? What triggered that reaction? Often it's that younger part of you feeling threatened. Third, learn to speak to these parts with compassion. When you notice that reaction, take a breath and ask, how old does this feeling feel? Often you'll get a number. That's the age of the part that's activated. A simple exercise. Here's something you can try right now. Think about a situation that consistently triggers you. Maybe it's conflict with your partner, criticism at work, or feeling left out socially. Notice where you feel it in your body. Put your hand there. Now ask, how old is the part of me that feels this way? Don't think about it. Just let an age pop into your mind. Now imagine talking to yourself at that age. What would you tell that child? Maybe, hey, I see you. I know you're scared, but I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to take care of this situation. You don't have to figure it out anymore. The path forward. Look, I'm not going to tell you that healing from childhood trauma is easy. But it doesn't have to take decades of therapy either. When we work directly with these dissociated parts, when we actually connect with the child inside us who's been trying so hard to keep us safe, healing can happen remarkably quickly. The goal isn't to forget what happened or to pretend it didn't matter. The goal is to help that wounded child inside you finally feel safe enough to rest and to let the adult you take over making decisions about your life. Because here's what I know after nearly 3 decades of this work. You're not broken. You're not too damaged to heal. You're not too old to change. That little part of you that got hurt, she's been waiting her whole life for someone to really see her, to tell her she's safe now, to promise she's not alone anymore, that someone is you, and it's never too late to start. Remember, life isn't a problem to be solved. It's an experience to be enjoyed. Even your pain can become a doorway to deeper compassion, stronger relationships, and a more authentic life. The child in you has been carrying this weight long enough. It's time to set both of you free.